No, I said I was going to start yesterday and I am a day late. I apologize. Um, but we are here. Welcome to the P.S.A. Okay, this is my podcast that I have that I do commentary. Some things I'll put in the form where it might be a little humor to it, but I want you to get the message more than you feel like you're being scolded at or being preached to by a preacher. All right. So that's what we do here, and I also give the information and give information out as I discover it and find it and put it together about what's going on in our world. Look like I'm fixing my bro. What's going on in our world? What's going on around us? Also with religion, government. I mean, even weather. I cover it all. All right. So make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping the video, which will be at least 3 to 4 videos a week. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it like that. So last video I talked about, and I don't want to harp too much on it, but I had talked about, a certain page I was giving the information out. Far as when I say the information, I mean things that we need to know to save our souls as human beings and what we need to be aware of stepping forward into the future. Um, you know, we had the conscious community, they pretended to act like they were the ones. Then we found out that wasn't true. They were about money, and that was the whole WWE thing. Then you see the thing with Legio Bishop, and I'll do a video on that there. Being that I personally had a conversation with this guy and went back and forth with this man. If you don't know, look down on my channel, look down all the way down to my videos, and you will see me and Eligio going at it when he was in his, I guess he said his lower self, one of his lower selves. Me and him. Oh yeah, I had words for him. He said some stupid. He said some stupid crap to me. I couldn't even believe he said it. The examples he was using, or he was trying to use on me, they weren't working at all. And he sounded stupid. But nevertheless, again, we step into something else. New level, new devil, same devil, same devil, different level. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So, what I want to go over right now is, what's going on in Ukraine, COVID. We're gonna talk about that. Um, and all these, everything that I'm saying is my thoughts and my opinions that are coming out of my mouth and how I feel. Um, I would advise go ahead and do your own research. If you don't believe what I have to say, or you're not hearing it, or it don't sound right to you. All right, so let's move forward. All right, so there was this doctor, and I was sitting here looking up some of his stuff here, and he had discovered something. Now, a couple of scientists had said this about 2 years ago when COVID first started, that you know traces of COVID could be found in snake venom, and we're going to go over that and how that ties in, because that ties into a lot of things. And I'm going to show you how, or we're going to talk about, and I'm going to let you hear how, certain things are connected. Okay. All right. So. With Fundrise, you can invest here. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So the snake that is from China. Now, scientists are saying that this snake comes from China, and this snake is either the crane or the cobra. Either two of those snakes have traces of the COVID 19 in the Venom. So we're gonna check this out, okay? So let's go here. What are the effects of a bite from a cobra snake? We're gonna look that up first. There's a reason. Let's see. A case of a cobra bite emergency snake venom. Debunk snake venom COVID theory from Watch the Water. So people come out with their debunked or whatever like that. When you got scientists that's work there and they're sitting up there putting their life on the line. So what it is with COVID is that a while ago when they discovered this, when scientists were researching this thing and everything, they noticed that there were two strands. All right, there were two strands. One was was prone to bats, was subject to bats, but the other one that was unknown, they couldn't like really put a clarity on it, was more adopted into snakes. All right, king cobra attack. Let's just see what happens. Let's see here.
A 55-year-old farmer presented to the emergency treatment unit with double vision and difficulty in speech. The patient said he was totally fine the day before and noticed these changes suddenly in the morning. The key features I noticed were ptosis, or drooping of the eyelids, and drooling of saliva, which indicates difficulty in swallowing. I immediately checked his feet and observed a considerable swelling around the ankle. Now that I knew what I was looking for, I was able to spot the bite marks caused by the fangs of a snake. The swelling around the bite site and the neurological signs usually point towards a cobra bite in tropical countries. Though he's stable at the moment, the victim will be paralyzed and go into respiratory failure if we don't treat him fast.
Respiratory failure. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, respiratory failure. Okay, so that's major. That's big because what is coronavirus? Like key thing. What is it that it does? It attacks your respiratory system. All right, shut. What it does is on your lungs. You have these little hairs. Okay, and in them hairs, what those hairs do is it's basically responsible for, if I'm correct, getting the oxygen to turn into carbon monoxide. So basically, it's like the oxygen. That's where it feeds off of. It's like it's home. So when you have a virus that's blocking those little pathways for that exchange to happen, you affect your respiratory system, and that's why people they get on ventilators and then they usually don't make it. All right. RIP to K Slade. This is another reason why I wanted to, you know, talk about this as well. We just seen a world renowned DJ, succumb to the trials and tribulations of this. And excuse me, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said K Slade was in the hospital since December. I remember Wack 100 saying something about it, and people thought he was being funny. And Wack was like, "Nah, man, he probably ain't gonna like say nothing. You know what I mean? He probably gonna want nobody to know, but he's sick. Y'all need to pray for him." It's not no joke out here. That's what I said with this. I appreciate the other guy, all the work that he did. I do. But when you start the shortchanging, and you're saying, you got to feed this person, feed it, like, no one needs theatrics and all this other stuff. You see how I'm just sitting here talking. You either gonna want to accept it and listen or not. Now I'm gonna change it up. I'm not gonna always just be me in front of the camera talking. No, there's gonna be videos where I'm gonna let you see exactly what I'm talking about and post the video up. Or there's gonna be videos with me doing a commentary while we're watching the video together. But with this here one, this with this here, we're gonna do more the listening. But I'm gonna break down this information. But anyway, so respiratory, cobra bite, COVID-19, respiratory. Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, today on our series about interesting medical cases, we'll learn about the cobra bites. There are many species of cobra, like the famous king cobra, tree cobras,
Okay.
ring caws, etc. Their fibrosis or cellular death will cause blisters and ulcers. The presence of local effects alone is not an indication to administer antivenom, because the traditional antivenom itself is highly allergic and could result in a life-threatening allergic reaction called anaphylaxis. In order to give antivenom, the local effects should extend beyond half of the limb. However, we started the patient on antibiotics to prevent a secondary bacterial infection and severe acidosis due to respiratory failure. We intubated the patient and connected to a ventilator to prevent an impending respiratory arrest.
You hook the patient up to a ventilator. Isn't that what happens with COVID? You get hooked up to a ventilator that's like almost like dinner near the crossroads if you don't make it. Or it takes you too long to make it, and I'll tell you, man, this stuff ain't no joke, everything, nothing is coincidence. Things are done for a reason. Things are done for a reason, and the way that they're done for a reason. The hardest, the most harsh, the most harsh things. And I'm not saying those harsh things are even right, but those people who do those things, they done them for a reason. Not saying that the reason is good, not damn sure enough, not saying it's good, and I'm not. That's it. I can't say it was good or if it was the other way, but you know, choices as well. So, I'm saying all that, to say like this thing for it to outbreak like this, it wasn't like an accident. Control, 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 control. Remember that control. Everything has to have some kind of control. Everything has a name that belongs to something, that belongs to something, that belongs to something, that goes under one umbrella. I mean, everybody's about control and power, control and power. Look at the whole situation going on with, the war over in Ukraine and Russia. Control, 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 control. And it's crazy. It's sidebar. What blows my mind about everything in that on this planet and like us like as human beings is how do you destroy you? Like we all look alike and everything else until something else arrive here that don't belong here, but then everybody start freaking out and then becoming one. But before we even get to that point, like how do you kill children? Like how do you murder people trying to get away from danger, that don't want the conflict, that don't want to fight, that don't want to live their life, like a fucking slave. How do you excuse my language, probably French, but I mean, how do you? You can't. I mean, it seemed that way you can't, but it's like I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to go too far out there. Let me go on and just square back in here.
The neurotoxins are a fascinating product of evolution that can outsmart the well-developed nervous system of animals. When you want to activate a certain muscle, the motor neuron releases a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which in turn binds to nicotinic receptors on muscle surface. The activated receptor will release calcium into the cell and cause muscular contraction. Unfortunately, neurotoxins released by the cobra are identical to acetylcholine, but it doesn't produce muscle contraction when it binds with the nicotinic receptor. This antagonizing or blocking effect of the neurotoxins causes muscle paralysis. The paralysis happens in a descending order. The first symptom of neurotoxicity is ptosis. Then the patient will develop double vision due to the paralysis of ocular muscles. Swallowing difficulty and speech dysfunctions will appear when the toxicity involves throat muscles. Finally, when the respiratory muscles are paralyzed, the patient will gradually stop breathing.
Wow.
The indications for administration of antivenom are having local effects involving more than half the length of a limb or the presence of systemic signs like neurotoxicity.
That's
Antivenin
crazy.
is the antibody-rich serum extracted from the blood of animals like horses and sheep. That also explains why antivenom is highly allergic to some patients. In addition to the neurotoxicity, the medical literature associates cobra bites with cardiac toxicity as well. 15 to 30 minutes after the administration of antivenom, the patient's ptosis improved. In about 6 hours, his neurotox... Let's take
Okay, so that's just that. Okay, so it shuts down everything. Basically, put you in a paralyzing state. What are the major and severe side effects of COVID-19? We gonna see. And look, all I'm getting stuff is about the vaccine, the vaccine, the vaccine, the vaccine. What a long-term side effect of the vaccine, of the vaccine. Everybody talking about the vaccine. COVID boosters may risk more serious side effects. See, look, they got these things, and they know what they're doing. If you think that let me just say this: if you think that they'll actually like give you something to get rid of something, I mean, the only medicine they ever came out with is called I call it to deal with. All right, and what that is to me is I'm gonna give you this to deal with it, and then you'll come back because you have another problem because of what I gave you, and I'm gonna give you something else to deal with that, and then to deal with this, and to deal with that, and that's what it is. Just enough to deal with, just something to deal with it. You hear people say, the money is in the. It's not just about the money; it's the addiction. Think about that part. The addiction is the motherfucking is the daggone is the thing, and it's just sad. Okay, so the symbolism of health and medicine, when you see is the staff with the snake around it and the wings of an angel, supposedly, allegedly, the wings of an angel. So, you know, you think you got to put these things together. It's not hard to find, not hard to, to understand. You got venom. You have venom from a cobra Chinese snake, okay, that when you bit by one of these snakes, it paralyzes you, attacks your respiratory system, just like COVID-19. Not only just with that, now they've made like these things called vaccines, allegedly, and they're supposed to put the protein or whatever they say it's supposed to do. I mean, it's almost becoming like I don't know, man. That itself is almost becoming like a feeding ground for it. And it's just you have to understand, what's going on here. God talked a lot and still does through us and to us. If you choose to listen, it's all on you if you choose to listen or not. But when something's telling you doing something wrong or you something isn't right, that's where those are the times where you met God. Those are the times where you talk, and you knew Yahweh told you don't do this ain't right, or the way you doing this is wrong, or whatever. Then you went against that. You know what it is. If these guys in suits that have these arguments, if they were the ones going to war, there wouldn't be no war. you know. But all in all, again, all of these things is for a reason. And the way that things are set up, there's no coincidence. There's no way that first it was a bat. Now I can see why they got confused with where this got started with a bat because there were two different strands, but this ain't come from no bat. This is this COVID is because you know what I mean is closer to a snake and the effects of what a snake bite would have and do. You know, a snake will paralyze you. COVID-19, oh, I've seen you seen how many people were in beds. They weren't going nowhere. You know, um, to take something you're saying you're making it, and then you're making it. You're talking about this is supposed to help you get ready for it. Like if I don't, all right, how can you get ready for something you don't want? Unwanted. How do you get ready for an unwanted guest? Do you dress up like the guest that you think is going to come that you don't want to? No, you make sure you do whatever the hell you can that they don't come in at all. Or I mean, you don't want to make a replica of it. I mean, if you think about it, you make something that you saying, you know, it's like an antibody that makes a replica of basically in your body. It's basically like something dressed up like COVID in your body, and it's supposed to help you your system get ready for this thing that looks like this. So when it comes, you know to attack it. But what if this thing coming into your body, it don't look like what was put in you to prepare for it? Now you got two problems on your hands because you got something set in your system. You don't know what the hell that's gonna do, and now you got this new shit. Now I'm fighting this. Now your system got to fight two things. Got to deal with one, focus what the hell's going on there, and then deal with the other one. Now, again, if these things attack your respiratory system, the way that you breathe, there's going to be a point where, you know, in Revelations, it talk about you can't sell, you won't be able to sell, eat, you won't be able to go out in public. Like, you think it's bad now, this is nothing. It's getting to a point they gotta weed it out too. Like, you know, all right, there's too many people not getting vaccinated, too many people that are vaccinated is too much of you know what I mean, mask on, mask off, this and that. We need to start figuring out who's who and how, and we need to do that a certain way. Because after this whole little thing with the whole little war that's going over here on the left hand, on the right hand side, when all that's said and done, it's going to be a point where everybody gonna have to just come together. But like, look, other than land and shit like that, we gotta make sure we survive, and we gotta make sure we put shit in order. All right, they already. I don't know how you feel about paper money, but I said before, you better do all this digital currency, whatever it is, because that's about to be gone. They're coming out with digital money. They have they have a CBDC. It's called a Central Bank Digital Computer. It's an app that you put on now in Beijing. In order to participate and get money during the Olympics, you had to put a My22. It's for money purposes only for you to transfer your money over because they was not accepting no paper money. You got to understand. You got to think. What is one of the number one things that causes or spreads germs? Money. Money. People don't turn it away. People don't say no to their change, and you don't know who touched that last. You know, they talk about how COVID spread so fast. Look at them damn registers. Look at all those registers. If you could put a blue light over all that money and a black light over all that money, I'm pretty sure you'd be disgusted. You know, and then the transferring the germs and you know people put that. You know, your change is a nickel. Somebody that you know gave somebody that nickel. They might have sneezed with the nobody seen. Then time to get their chain, go in their hand, sneezy hand, give them a sneezy nickel, you know. And then next thing next thing you know, that spread it, and then that person gets somebody else. I mean, and they keep going on and on. What's the best thing to do? Eliminate that. Get rid of paper money. Nobody gotta touch nobody. It's another way for nobody have to touch anyone physically or exchange anything. Okay. Now they put bad stuff out to put you in a corner to get the worser the what's coming worse, get you comfortable and get you set in it. Because once you get set with calling somebody God or Jesus or Savior or Lord or Master or anything that isn't what it is, you get so far deep in it, you don't, I mean, it's too late for you to even say, you're there already. Okay? And a lot of people, a lot of things is going on, now with it, by 2023, all the currency is supposed to be turned in digital. Or I would say, in my fair guess, a good 80-70% of it is going to be digital. Keep track with paper money, and then you gotta think it'd be a good idea for them to do these things because they can track your purchases, that's what they want to do with, and they'll aim that towards violence that's going on in the street, how people are getting guns and everything, purchasing guns, or how guns are getting, keeping track of these things. Having it digital would be the best way for them to do this. Get rid of paper money. That way, when they have bankruptcies and stuff like that, the federal, they don't have to worry about making paper money because that's what drops the value of a dollar when they make more of it. Yep. Okay. Again, like I mentioned, coronavirus numbers are going up. All these different strands and everything. Cobra bite. All right. Stay focused on Cobra bite. Paralyzed respiratory system. Coronavirus. All these different strands. See, because you can't have you can't have a family until two people come together. So whatever they are doing, they're mixing it up. They're putting all this other. They're doing a lot, man. They're trying to really, really, really do a lot of damage here, and I don't think we're seeing it because you're so comfortable set in the way of what's going on in the world. And the more that they make you comfortable, the more that you are comfortable, the less you care, the later you get to what's going around you and your surroundings. And then you just, that's how a lot of people give up their power to people. You know, how you get someone to give up your power one way is, get them to stop thinking. Get them in a position where they need you to think for them. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's what you had Eligio, look at Eligio Bishop. Look at he's in jail now, finally, over that crazy stuff. But that's what I'm gonna cover for right now for today. And then we'll talk about the RFID chips and you know, a lot of employees will be chipped. And we'll talk about that stuff then, but get prepared for all this stuff. The best way to have people not contact and have communication with each other is to be able to keep track of all their surroundings. Excuse me, everything's gonna be digital. But that's my show today for this episode. Please make sure that you tune in. What's today? Today is Thursday. Make sure that you tune in Saturday for my show Saturday. And we're going to talk about RFID chips. I'm gonna show you some videos about what's going on now with on the entertainment side and how all that's connected and whatnot. And we're also gonna get more into this whole, corona virus, quote unquote, so to speak thing. Also, I'm going to talk about some people that you may be familiar with, that may be entering back in the office, probably in no time, and we'll talk about that on Saturday. Make sure that you tune in. I say that show's going to be at. We're going to do that show at about 4 p.m. So make sure you tune in 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, J.Matthew TV. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that bell, that notification bell, so you know when I'm dropping the video for you to watch. You know, And like I said, it ain't gonna be all just about this. I'm gonna do different stuff and everything like that. So make sure you tune in. And like I said, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.